parece hermoso, no te dejes engañar por lo que parece hermoso. El amor no es solo sexo, el amor no es solo gozo, el amor no es solo sexo, el amor no es solo gozo. Que si te quiero te dice, que si te muero te habla, que eres mi vida te dice, mi chulería te habla.
Palabras, palabras, palabras,
palabras que se funden como el río con el mar. Y dice, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso.
Es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso.
Una tiene que aprender a mirar muy bien la cosa, una tiene que aprender a mirar muy bien la cosa. No te dejes engañar por amor color de rosa, no te dejes engañar por amor color de rosa. Que si te quiero te dice, que si te muero te habla, que eres mi vida te dice, mi chulería te habla.
Palabras, palabras,
palabras no más, palabras que se funden como el río con el mar. Y dice, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso.
es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso.
Eso, merengue. Que si te quieres, que si me mueres, que gozo todo, que no lo vuelve a hacer. ¡Epa! Que si me quiere, que si me muere, que yo soy todo, su chulería, que no lo aguanta, que me perdone, que no lo vuelve a hacer. Que si te quiero te dice, que si te muero te habla, que de mi vida te dice, mi chulería te habla.
Palabras, palabras,
Palabras, palabras, palabras que se funden como el río con el mar. Y dice, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso.
es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso, es mentiroso este hombre, es mentiroso.
Que si se muere, que yo soy todo, que lo perdone, que no lo vuelve a hacer. Si me quiere, que yo soy todo, que lo perdone, que no lo vuelve a hacer. ¡Epa! Si me quiere, que yo soy todo, mi chulería, que no me aguanta, que lo perdone, que no lo vuelve a hacer. Thank you.
Gracias, gracias, thank you.
Gracias.
Huepa.
At Puerto Rico at Jazz Fest 2023. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, in 2020, I had to go tell the mayor that we had to cancel the festival. She said, well, I'm behind you 100%. 2021, I had to tell her twice we were canceling the festival. She said, I'm behind you, whatever you need. Finally, in 2022, we said we can do it. And she went to all her department heads and said, Jazz Fest is a priority for the city of New Orleans. Do whatever you can do to make it work. She is our mayor, Latoya Cantrell.
Well, good morning. And Quint, you act like it is hard to say yes to keep the Jazz Fest going in the city of New Orleans. That's the easiest thing to do, quite frankly, in the role being the mayor of the city of New Orleans. Listen, I am here. I'm very excited to be here as we're kicking off and getting prepared for the 52nd Annual Jazz Festival in the city of New Orleans. Give all of us a round of applause, and clearly the leadership that has made it happen. Now, I think that we're not only prepared, but one thing that I've been so excited about as we left or moved past our 2019, our 50th anniversary, and clearly giving the key to the city to George Wayne at that time, but being able to see the city of New Orleans on that world stage with that Netflix show. Have you seen that? Promoting the city of New Orleans, our jazz festival. Have you all seen that? You need to make some noise about that, because I believe that while we saw last year, as we saw our numbers over 475,000 bounce back to those 2019 numbers, I have no doubt that this year, in terms of our folks coming to visit the city of New Orleans from around the world, we're going to see more than we have seen in a mighty long time. So let's keep the great things going, and let's get ready for the 52nd Jazz Festival in the heart of the city of New Orleans. All right.
Well, in the state of Louisiana, the part of the government, the state government, is something called Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. It's managed by the Lieutenant Governor of the state. Well, Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, that's kind of us. So he's been a great partner to the festival, a great supporter of it, and he does what he does, Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Please welcome the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Louisiana, Billy Nungesser.
That hurts my feelings. You forgot my name. That's okay. Long as you remember an election day. Thank y'all for being here. Listen, Quint and the team that puts on this event doesn't get enough credit. You know, coming out of COVID, we had to think outside the box. So what do? We throw a parade. So we got in every parade in the world we could. Macy's parade, the Rose Parade. And we saw our numbers go up, everybody booking a trip to Mardi Gras. And what do we do after Mardi Gras? We kick off fair and festival season with this great event. And I'll tell you, last week in Washington, I made a plea to all of my lieutenant governors at our conference. You need to come to Jazz Fest. Well, 11 have booked trips to come to the Jazz Fest this year. But this event is such a great tool in our toolbox to get people excited from all over the world coming back to Louisiana. And I am sure, as the mayor said, 2023 will be back to those record-breaking numbers. You know, in 2019, 5 record-breaking years up to that point, 53 million people visited Louisiana, and they left behind $1.9 billion in taxes you and I didn't have to pay. That's over $1,100 per Louisiana family. And I'm sure because of this event, Mardi Gras, and all the great fairs and festivals all over Louisiana, 2023, we will set another record. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. The governor had a conflict today, couldn't be with us, but he sent his senior advisor, Joseph Hollins.
Thank you, Quint. The governor sends his regards and his regrets. He's regretful that he could not be here today, but he sends his regards to all those who are here today and all those who love Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest has always been a priority for the governor, and I believe that this is the first press conference in his term that he has not been able to attend, and so it just shows you what a priority Jazz Fest is to the state of Louisiana. And as I got ready to speak for him, I looked over his talking points from last year to see what I could grab, and it wasn't much I could grab because most of the talking points were about COVID and festing in place. And you know, COVID seems like a distant memory now, but I think that we should all be grateful that we are here 2 years in a row for Jazz Fest. That's something that we took for granted for over 50 years that we'll just be back next year. And so I don't know about you, but I'm excited that we're back here again for another year. You know, Jazz Fest is a celebration of Louisiana's culture, but Jazz Fest is also, important to Louisiana for the economic impact that Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser just mentioned. You know, some people, it is said that Jazz Fest has the same economic impact as a Super Bowl, but it's our Super Bowl of culture that we get to have every year. And so we're just so excited to be here and to celebrate Jazz Fest. And on behalf of Governor Edwards, we want everybody to be safe. We want everybody to be have fun. And as Mayor Cantrell said, we're going to break records this year, y'all.
Yeah, just a moment. Governor Edwards is the only sitting governor that's ever come to Jazz Fest. That's our support. Put this up here. Well, as I assume you know, the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival is owned by a nonprofit foundation, the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, which does wonderful things in this city. And it's led by its president of the board of directors, David Francis.
Oh, that was funny. Well, it's great to be back. After a 2-year delay, and we returned in 2022, it was extraordinarily successful. As we await the 23 Festival with great anticipation and expectation that our fest goers will be wowed again by the food, the musical lineup, the crafts that we've become renowned for. The Foundation Board proudly recognizes the extraordinary work done by our Foundation staff to continue the mission with passion, empathy, and creativity. We, the Foundation, are steadfast in our belief in this community and our obligation to make it better. Our mission is to promote, preserve, perpetuate, encourage the music, arts, culture, and heritage of the communities in Louisiana through festivals, programs, and other cultural, educational, civic, and economic activities. The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation continues to collaborate and partner with like-minded organizations to do just that. As an example, our Heritage School of Music continues to develop innovative ways to educate and mentor over 300 children and young adults annually in the arts. Through economic initiatives that support artists, the Foundation's Community Partnership Grants and Impact Grant Program distributed $1.5 million to various local groups during 2022. These grants support music, arts, and culture education in the schools and after-school programs and organizations representing Louisiana's music and culture, filmmakers, recording artists, and hundreds of organizations. For those who otherwise would not be able to afford because of financial or other hardships, we contribute over 8,500 tickets to community outreach programs to help grow the interest in jazz and support our community. As I mentioned earlier, our mission is important to us. And who does more to perpetuate, celebrate, and nurture our cultural heritage and culture bearers than our multi-award-winning team and staff and volunteers at WWOZ. And we need to do a shout out in the back. OZ provides 24/7 worldwide exposure that helps sustain our audience and grow the next generation of guardians of the groove. To Festival Production, AEG, Quint, we thank you for your unwavering support and professionalism in effort to get us where we are today. We thank Shell for its continued dedication as a presenting sponsor, and we thank the artists, vendors, and hundreds of individuals who take part in the celebration of Louisiana culture. Your attendance at Jazz Fest supports our year-round activities, and I invite you to learn more about the Foundation's work and programs by visiting jazzandheritage.org and subscribing as a newsletter. In the meantime, let's get ready to party. Thank you all.
All right, well, the backbone, the spine of the economy of New Orleans is our hospitality industry. From restaurants to hotels to conventions. And the company that does it now is New Orleans and Company. And the chairman and CEO, the man that leads the #1 generator in our economy, is Walt Leger.
Thank you, Quint, and thank you to the Jazz Fest Foundation for allowing us to be great partners with them. On behalf of our 1,200 members, I just want to say how excited I am to be here today with you to kick off this celebration that's coming in less than a month now. 2023 has gotten off to a great start so far. I think the words that have been shared by all of our guests so far have all been right on point. And it's not that long ago that we were still working to emerge from some of the most difficult days that our city has seen. Just last January in 2022, we were still battling our way out, and now we're in so much of a greater position than we have been to be able to recover. We kicked off this year hosting the 71st annual Miss Universe pageant. It was an opportunity for our city to be in front of 500 million viewers and remind the world that we are one of the most special places on the planet. We moved into an incredible Mardi Gras that saw great visitorship and a return of crowds and hotel occupancy that is reminiscent of 2019. Major conventions are back in our city. We just had the cardiologists, the pathologists, the dermatologists, and the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and many others coming this way soon. And we keep winning recognition and awards. Recently, 2023 TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice named us Best of the Best. Southern Living named us Best Destination in the South. We were recently awarded a Best Airport designation for the great work that our city and our leadership and at the airport has done for us. And I think maybe most importantly for this event, Afar magazine recently named New Orleans as one of the top destinations in the world in April, largely because of the Jazz Fest. The other people on that list, Rome, Jordan, Spain, Iceland, and French Polynesia. Nowhere else in North America do people want to be more than the city of New Orleans. So as it's been said, thank you to all of our partners, and thank you to the city and for their leadership, and thank you to Lieutenant Governor for the state and the state leadership, and Josh, thank you for representing the governor. To all the partners at Jazz Fest, we're happy to be a part of that chorus, and we're looking forward to celebrating you in the weeks to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. Well, after Katrina, we were like the goldfish on the kitchen floor. And as we all know, it was Shell USA that came along and put us back in the water. So today we have with us the head of government relations for Shell USA, the Southeast region, an old, not chronologically old, but a great friend of the festival for like 16 years, is Fred Palmer.
Well, good morning, and it's very special for me to be here today because, as Quint mentioned, and I know Virginia Miller is here somewhere, but it was Virginia and I that walked into the Jazz Fest offices in 2005 and said, how can we help? And they had this idea of a presenting sponsor, something they'd always wanted and had never been able to attract. And obviously, we seized that opportunity, and now 18 years later, here we are again as presenting sponsor, and we couldn't be prouder. And why do we do it? At the time when we did it, it wasn't philanthropic, it was very self-serving. We had employees and a business that was very fragile in the New Orleans region at the time, and we wanted to send a signal to our staff and their families that New Orleans is going to recover and New Orleans has a future. And we did a number of things we called our Coming Home campaign, and you may remember the billboards. But one of the most significant things, obviously, is this relationship, and we couldn't be prouder of it. We have sites and offices from Port Allen, Geismar, Convent, Norco, New Orleans, Bayou parishes, and out in the Gulf of Mexico. Our investment, our presence here rivals that of many countries globally. So this is a relationship with Louisiana and New Orleans and the Gulf Coast region that we couldn't be prouder of. So on behalf of our over 3,000 employees, our 4,000 plus retirees, do the family and friends math, that's like a small town of Shell people that are in and living and enjoying Louisiana, and what better way to do it than to show up at Jazz Fest. Thank you all.
Thank you, Fred. So that's a segue into the sponsorship of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. Without it, we might not be here. We have wonderful partners. I'm going to give you a list. Of course, Shell USA, we just talked about. Miller Lite, Miller Coors, Louisiana Office of Tourism and Travel. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Fairgrounds Racecourse and SWATs, come on. First Horizon Bank, People's Health, AARP, New Orleans and Company, thank you, Walt. Wild Turkey, Coca-Cola, 1 Million Strong, Maui Gym, Oxner Health, the Mayor's Office of Cultural Economy, thank you, and the Sheraton New Orleans, the official festival hotel. Now, we consider ourselves a festival family. You're all in the festival family. And it's always a wonderful thing when we can welcome a new member of the festival family. And this year, sponsoring the gospel tent is Morris Bart.
Well, good morning, everyone. I can't tell you how excited and proud I am to be sponsoring the gospel tent. Not only because it's a wonderful venue, but quite frankly, it's my favorite venue at Jazz Fest. And as someone that's been coming here a long, long time, I love going to the gospel tent, and I'm very, very proud to be the sponsor of it. So when Quint and I first started talking about my sponsorship, I had an idea. And my idea was that you have these local church gospel choirs that come here and sing their hearts out. And I wanted to give them free tickets. I wanted to give each gospel member free tickets so they could bring family or friends to see them sing. And I'm proud to say that Quint and the Jazz Foundation stepped up, and they are giving me over 1,000 free tickets. And that's going to allow me to achieve this dream of giving every single member of the local church gospel choirs 2 free tickets to Jazz Fest. So obviously I'm going to have a busy April leading up to Jazz Fest because I want to do this personally myself. I want to see the joy of these choir members when I give them tickets. So I will be doing that from now until the festival starts. And if you want to see me at the festival, you know where to find me. I'll be at the gospel tent. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, he's taller than I am. Well, now it's time for the music. The festival this year has 580 groups total. 70 of those groups are what we call national guests. That means there are over 500 New Orleans groups and South Louisiana. People always wonder about that. They don't see the forest for the trees. And this is the year I especially like. So you're going to get what we call the programming today, who's playing on what stage, in what order, at what time. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. Actually, after the first example, you may not need any more. Big Frida, Tank and the Bangers, and Lizzo. That's the first Friday. Okay, the Revivalists and Ed Sheeran, Samantha Fish and Steve Miller Band, Rebirth Brass Band and Jill Scott, Buddy Guy and Santana. That's a show. Irma Thomas and John Batiste, Anders Osborne, the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, and Dead and Company. So we have some things that are new, some things that are returning. As I said, 2020 was a full festival, but there were parts of it that we just didn't get back. Now, new this year is something called the Bruce Bryce Arts Village. And Richard Thomas, Terrence Osborne, Brandon B. Mike Odom, and the Eternal Seeds program is going to have a section out there near the pond to encourage education and to show their art, obviously. Now, some of these returning highlights that we didn't have last year, of course, is the Cultural Exchange Pavilion, able to celebrate a culture, which, as you know by now, we're celebrating Puerto Rico after 4 years of trying. The Allison Minor Music Heritage Stage, which is right out there, is back. The Kids Tent and the Kids Village is back. the Public School Kids Day with thousands of kids is back. All right. The fest this year will be converting to all digital pay. That means that T-shirts, tickets, food, crafts, drinks will be sold without cash. But don't worry, if you don't have a credit card and you like to come to the festival with cash, there's booths all around the festival that will convert cash to a card that you can use throughout the festival. Now, food, we had some talk about food. Every year there's, coming and going, there's new people. I don't remember a year when there's more new people. I'll tell you what, if we only had the new people this year, we would have one of the best food festivals in the world. A couple of the new things: jerk chicken sausage, barbecue oysters, shrimp and grits, grilled shrimp with veggies, Palmer's Jamaican chicken, Caribbean fish, curry chicken pasta, steamed veggies, stewed chicken hand pie, guava and cream hand pie, key cake with bourbon pecan sauce, chocolate mocha cupcakes. Oh my God! I think some of those are here, and fresh strawberry cheesecake, lemon layer cake, and pecan rum cake. So that's just a sampling of the food that's new at the festival this year. So right now on the Jazz Fest website, nojazzfest.com, the whole list of all the food vendors and the whole list of all the crafts and artisan vendors is up on the website, and it'll all be up on the app soon. Well, you got the poster somewhere? Oh, this is like a dramatic unveiling. If they can get over here. But the poster this year is done by James Michelopoulos, who's one of New Orleans' great artists. He'd done a number of our greatest posters years ago, and he came back this year with what he calls a portrait of the French Quarter. Thank you. Along with that comes the Bayou wear, dresses and sundresses and Hawaiian shirts that relate to the poster. Okay, that's enough. Let's get back in the 2023 Jazz Fest Puerto Rican groove. Tres del Sur. Happy Jazz Fest, everybody. We're back.
Ese hombre que tú ves ahí, que parece tan amable, tan galante y arrogante, lo conozco como a mí. Ese hombre que tú ves ahí, que aparenta ser divino, tan amable y efusivo, solo sabe hacer sufrir. Es un gran necio, un estúpido engreído, egoísta y caprichoso, un payaso vanidoso, inconsciente y presumido, falso, malo, rencoroso, que no tiene corazón, lleno de celos sin razones, sin motivos, como el viento impetuoso, pocas veces cariñoso, inseguro de sí mismo, insoportable como amigo, insufrible como amor. Ese hombre que tú ves ahí, que parece tan amable, navigoso y agradable, lo conozco como a mí. Ese hombre que tú ves ahí, que aparenta ser seguro de pisarme por el mundo, solo sabe hacer sufrir. Es un gran necio, un estúpido engreído, egoísta y caprichoso, un payaso vanidoso, inconsciente y presumido. beso vanidoso que me llena de dolor. Thank you.
Gracias, gracias.